Hello to everyone in the Holy Trinity Greek Orthodox Cathedral community, also our friends who view these videos. We remind you to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be posting more videos like this, my weekly reflections, and also different lessons and things like that, and more information about our Holy Trinity community and things that are going on here. So stay posted, keep watching, and feel free to make comments in the comments section, ask questions, challenge, anything you want. We as Orthodox Christians understand that all of our theology is the expression in community or a communal expression of the shared experience of the Christian faith. And so when we talk about theology, it's never the theology of a particular person, but it's always the theology of the church that comes together. We're a conciliar church. Even though we revere the fathers and mothers of the church, ultimately our theology is a theology that emerges in council, in synod, when we come together, when we talk about the things that we've experienced, and as we come to an understanding of a shared experience, we try our best in language, though deficient as language is, to describe that, to set a boundary marker about what we're talking about so that we can all be on the same page. But we also have to be mindful of what those words mean and how we're supposed to respond to them. And so a contemporary teacher, Hierotheos Blakos, Metropolitan Hierotheos of Naupaktos, has talked a lot about this through an articulation of his teacher, Father John Romanides, and he talks about how dogma and ethos, dogma and ethics, go together. Now, dogma is a way of a word that we use to describe the theology or teachings, the things that are the facts about our faith, what we believe to be true, the certain things that we've discovered over time about that experience. Now, our ethics or ethos is how we respond to that. How do we respond to the reality that we have shared and articulated through our theology, through our dogma. And so everything is always going hand in hand. And as we practice our faith, as we perform those activities that give shape to our way of life, more experiences are added to us, more opportunities for us to experience the reality of God's presence in the midst of our lives through our different endeavors. And then we come together and talk about those experiences. We share those experiences with one another. Now, the activity that best represents this, that gives us the best example of what it's like to have a shared communal experience, is of course the liturgy, which is why I always ask our young people especially, but also their families, to be present at the liturgy, to be present on Sundays and whenever worship services happen, so that they can grow in faith with one another, because it's never something that's done alone. The Eucharist is not just the bread and the wine that we receive, but it's the communal action of coming together. And that communal action of coming together gives rise in us to a way of being, not just in that moment or those moments during the liturgy, but throughout our lives. And we are called, in receiving that being joined to the body of Christ through that communal action, that we respond in the world as Christ would, at least to the best of our abilities. By God's grace, we're able to do more, and the more we open ourselves up through our personal practices like prayer and meditation on the scriptures and fasting and all those activities that we hear about, so that we can more authentically live that communal experience in the midst of a world in great need. And the world is in great need, really great need. The world needs the presence of God, a communal presence, a presence that doesn't divide, but unites. Unites in our uniqueness, but certainly doesn't divide. Our uniqueness isn't a reason for us to be separated. In fact, it's our uniqueness that allows us to commune more authentically. If everyone was the same and there was no uniqueness, would it really be a communion of different persons? Would it really be a communion if we were all the same? Our unique and unrepeatability, the things that make us us, are just as significant in our as our capacity to come together and be unified as community. And we're a large community, nearly 1,000 families here at Holy Trinity. And it's a beautiful thing. There's so many people to be here. But sometimes even in the midst of this, we find ourselves in disagreement. We find ourselves in challenge. We find ourselves not always able to see beyond what divides us to what unites us, our common humanity. And our common humanity isn't just something that we experience locally here at Holy Trinity or even in Charlotte, but our common humanity is something that we share with the whole human race, with everyone. Now, that doesn't dissolve diversity. It doesn't dissolve difference. It doesn't dissolve that which makes each group of people, each individual unique. But what it does remind us is that we are to treat all with indiscriminate love. And that's including those who don't do what we want them to do, or we hope that they would do. That's why in the 25th chapter of the Gospel according to Matthew, when Christ talks about the last judgment, when he separates the sheep and the goat, the good and the not so good, he talks about who we're supposed to serve in love. And something really interesting happens. A good friend and scholar who I know once said that we, according to that passage, are judged also by how we treat those who break the rules. That's why we are called to love even those who are in prison and visit them. Not just say that we love them from a distance, but be present to them when they have done wrong to end up in a place of imprisonment. The same as when we are approaching those who are sick, or those who are hungry, or those who are thirsty, or those who are naked. We are called to love by offering of our abundance, whatever little amount of abundance we have, to those in need. And even if the abundance that we have is an abundance, a little bit of abundance of time, so as to visit those who, even though they have done something that would separate us from them or separate themselves from the community, we are still called to be there in their presence, which is something really interesting. It's a radical aspect of the gospel. We love indiscriminately because we recognize in Christ a shared humanity. Christ took on not an individual humanity, a humanity of his own. No, Christ, the second person of the Trinity, the Logos of God, took on humanity, the whole of humanity, becoming exactly what each and every one of us are, even though we have our uniqueness. So we can't be a people of division. We need to be a people of communion. A professor of mine once said that if we think about the kingdom of heaven as an icon of unity, well, the kingdom of hell is an icon of division, separation, othering, saying that you're not like me, you're not worthy of love. That's not right. That's not the gospel. We are called to love indiscriminately. The kingdom of heaven is a kingdom of unity of all persons, of creation itself. We hope that through our efforts, not that we will be saved as if we could earn the kingdom, but know that through our efforts, we are more open to becoming conduits of the kingdom in the world, so that all might find Christ in us, because it is ultimately God who works these great deeds. And if we have abundance, if we have anything that we can offer, whether it's time or talents or treasure, we are called to be good stewards of those things, that abundance, and give to those who are in need. That doesn't mean that we have to give everything. If you have 2 cloaks, you're not called to give both, but just one. But you are called to offer it to those in need, to go the extra mile. It's a radical, radical gospel. And that's the gospel we have. We don't have a gospel that allows us to be complacent. We don't have a gospel where we can leave it up to our government to decide how we're to treat those in need. And in fact, sometimes the government, no matter what political party is in charge, falls short of the gospel message. And it's our job as Christians, our job as Christians who have become baptized and put on Christ, being unified to him, being members of his very body, to actualize the kingdom in the world, a world in great need. this coming Sunday, tomorrow, I'll be talking a little bit more about this subject in connection with the gospel reading for tomorrow. I look forward to seeing you all there. Our young people will be heading to summer camp at St. Stephen's Camp in Salem, South Carolina. I'll be joining with them for the week. I might even try to record my video for next week while I'm down there. I should be back by Saturday in time to post it. But that way, those of you who aren't as familiar with the Diaconia Center may get a better glimpse of it and see how the young people of our community and the young people from around the metropolis are utilizing this beautiful space that is the fruit of the vision of many people. First among them, our Metropolitan Alexios of Atlanta. It's such a joy. I love the facilities, I love the space, and I love being with the young people. The young people aren't the future of our faith, they are the present, and we are called to nurture them as best as we can in them. And as Bishop Sebastian said recently when he came here for the Evertinian Society a banquet and festivities, it is camping ministries and retreats that really leave an impact on our young people's lives. And so we hope that everyone will continue to support these programs. I hope that next year we'll have even more people to come with us, and I look forward to talking to you more about it. So keep an eye on what's being posted. We're going to be starting Saturday night services soon, starting with this coming Saturday, the 13th, I believe, and we're going to be doing a divine liturgy, but sometimes we'll either do divine liturgy or a Vesper service with an opportunity for conversation with people that are interested in Orthodoxy, and also those who are already Orthodox but would love to learn more about the faith that they hold so dear. Again, God bless you. I look forward to seeing you all soon. And again, watch these videos, comment on them, ask any questions you have. And if you have an idea for a topic, feel free to message me, email me, or call the office. I'd love to hear your thoughts. God bless you. Bye.